What's going on, you George Romero enthusiasts? The boys are back for another episode of the 31 Days of Horror. And that's right, you guessed it. We are covering George Romero's classic, Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
George signed my poster back when we went to the convention. Over 10 years ago now, we met, got to meet George at Flashback Weekend in Chicago. Really enjoyed meeting him and speaking with him. He was a very nice guy. We chatted with them about Night of the Living Dead. Of course, they had some cast members there from the original Night of the Living Dead that we got to meet and get autographs, take pictures with. Really good time. We've always been a big fan of George Romero, of course, the original Night of the Living Dead movies, and his second, hugely ambitious zombie film, Dawn of the Dead. It brought everything into color. It's in 70s glory, and it takes place in the shopping mall, a place where a lot of people don't go nowadays. Everybody orders everything online nowadays. Some people still go to the mall. I haven't been there in a long time. Few and far between visits now to the mall, especially during the pandemic here. You don't want to go out in public and go to crowded places like that. So, but Dawn of the Dead, George Romero's classic film. One of our favorites to revisit around the Halloween season.
Yep, this is a horror sequel, one of my favorite horror sequels of all time. Love revisiting this each Halloween season. One of my favorite Romero flicks of the zombie franchise next to the original. This takes place 10 years after the original in 1968. This came out in 1978. A lot of great actors, and it really doesn't waste any time in this film. In the beginning, we see a TV station and the news and everything of how the zombie apocalypse is just expanded and ever growing, and the human population is dissipating, and there's not much left. So we have these group of survivors trying to survive the zombies that are basically picking them off one by one. And a lot of great gore, a lot of great gruesome practical effects. We have Tom Savini doing the special effects in this movie. He also has a small role as one of the biker gang at the local mall that shows up.
I grew up watching Night of the Living Dead, the original, with my brother, watching that over and over and over again. By the time I got to Dawn of the Dead, I was older, and I remember first getting the VHS of Dawn of the Dead. I, saw it, had never seen it before, threw it in, and I was like, holy shit, this is another level of craziness. Just seeing how they did it and presented it with the news station, like you mentioned, it felt really real. It felt like you were watching kind of like a documentary, of that time, following this group into the mall and out trying to survive this zombie apocalypse. The special effects were amazing in this. Like you mentioned, Tom Savini working with all the practical effects. So much gore and blood and just over the top gruesomeness happens. The zombies, all the makeup and everything, they looked really good for the time. I mean, going back and looking at it now, you can tell obviously it's ketchup and other, effects that they use for the kills and everything. But just the viciousness of it, they did a good job filming it. And you get really claustrophobic. You follow the group in this mall, but as the zombie horde gets bigger and they get into the mall, you just feel the area they're in just closing in on them, and all the zombies surrounding them slowly. They're able to fend them off in the beginning. Luckily, there is a gun and ammo store within this mall, so they have plenty of guns and ammo to use. But eventually the zombie horde becomes too much. You get some really great scenes where they have control of the situation. They're sort of set up like sharpshooters. Somebody hiding in a bush taking out zombies. You see them fall into the little the fountains that they have in the mall. You see some really good scenes reflecting like mall life from George Romero. You get the social commentary too that George Romero even showed in the first Night of the Living Dead. This, we get an idea about, has things to say about the capitalist society with people coming into the mall to spend all their money. Yep. And they're kind of like zombies on their own without being zombies. And in this movie, they're actually zombies, which is pretty cool. It just leads to some great scenes there. Just how they have to survive, how they have to band together to try to fight off these zombies.
And Ken Foree was really great, Peter. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. Obviously, it's in Rob Zombie flicks as well, but I thought he was really good. Seeing a young version of him, and also like how they're all like hanging out in the mall and having fun too. Like had some downtime before the zombies kind of show up, and they're all doing their thing and hanging on the roof and whatever. But this is a different movie compared to the first. The first zombie apocalypse, when they started showing up, it's like really making them fight because they're trying to survive in this house. And this one, they kind of get along better. So it's you see the characters developing and trying to stay together and survive in the zombie apocalypse. And this is all they have. A lot of famous zombies in this movie as well. A lot of people that look up to over the years in terms of zombie and the effects and everything. I thought really well done. Great story. I love the mall. I've always wanted to visit Monroeville Mall in Pennsylvania. It's on my bucket list, but I want to get out there one day and check it out. It's completely different, and it's really cool how they filmed this at night when the mall wasn't open. And I always wondered how they cleaned up all the guts and effects and stuff, and opened it up in the morning, and like how they did that so quick. But that's how they filmed this movie overnight when the mall was closed, and just really iconic film that holds up all these years later. And definitely a movie you have to watch during the Halloween season if you've not seen it. Definitely one of the best horror sequels of all time.
By far one of the best. Zack Snyder even came back and did his own remake of this. It's definitely a classic. Like you mentioned, the characters, George Romero really gives each character life. He gives them, their backstories. In the downtime when they're not, battling the zombies, they're, talking with each other. We learn more about their backgrounds, where they come from, who they're fighting for. So he really does a good job of expanding the universe. The first Night of the Living Dead, it was confined mostly to this one house. And like you mentioned, this opens up the world. It brings them into a bigger mall area, but also we see them outside the mall. We see them utilizing a helicopter at one point. We see a lot more weapons there. What George Romero answers the question, what if you have a lot of guns and ammo? Can you hold off the horde? And we get the answer in the film. We see a young Tom Savini doing his thing in this movie with the practical effects, some legendary, awesome kills in this, some great practical effects, lots of gore. This is a great one to revisit at this time of year. And we both love this movie.
Yeah, so that being said, I'm going to give George Romero's Dawn of the Dead a 4 out of 5 zombie hair pieces.
And I am going to give George Romero's 1978 Dawn of the Dead a 4.5 out of 5 Tom Savini kill pieces.
We're interested in hearing what you guys think of Dawn of the Dead, the OG from 1978, one of the best sequels ever. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe.
Subscribe and love us. Thank you guys for joining along with us for this 31 Days of Horror. We are having a blast talking about these old films that we love. And we are looking forward to seeing some new movies that are coming out in October and some new shows. We're going to have so many videos for you. Hopefully you guys don't get sick of us. If you guys like Halloween, we think that you'll enjoy watching these videos. So we talk about, some of the behind the scenes stuff, along with the things that we like from each movie and show. So stay tuned for more Halloween goodness on the 31 Days of Horror. These wild rascals have to go back to the mall and get some shopping done. Hopefully there's no more zombies there. I'm going to be packing heat. What about you?
Let's go to the mall. I'm going with the Robin Sparkles.
Until next time. Cheers.